the tiki bar is open. Thank God the tiki torch still shines. Thank God the tiki bar is open. Come on in and open up your mind.
Broken heart, eh? I'd say that calls for some Dos Equis beer and some tequila, maybe a margarita to go along with the Mexico trilogy from Robert Rodriguez. It'll get you back in that fighting spirit, ready to go after some more chicks. What do you say? All right, you have a good day now. Oh, hello. Welcome to Movies at the Tiki Bar. I'm your host on this little island oasis, the Movie Dude. You might be thinking to yourself, how do movies and tiki bars go together? Two things we like here at the Movie Tiki Bar. One, great movies. Two, great cocktails. We strive to put together the perfect cocktails with the perfect set of movies. And today, we're going to look at the Indiana Jones trilogy. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, aren't there 4 Indiana Jones movies with a 5th one on the way? Movie Dude, how do you not know that? No, I do know that. It's simply, we're not going to focus on the 4th one or the upcoming 5th one tonight. We're going to talk about those first 3 movies, the classics, the ones we all remember and love. Now, that being said, let's take a look at the history of the Indiana Jones movies. From Pulp Fiction to the comics to movie serials, we as a culture have been obsessed with fantasy, action, and adventure. All of the things that led up to the creation of the Indiana Jones movies. Now, being a child of the 50s and 60s, George Lucas understood this, and when he was creating the Star Wars movies in the mid-70s, he created an archaeologist character by the name of Indiana Smith. Years later, when the project was actually getting developed, Steven Spielberg said, "I hate that last name." George Lucas replied with, "Well, fine, we'll call him Indiana Jones." Thus, a screen icon was born. Now, what do you get when you combine the talents of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas? You get movie magic. That's what you get. Those first 3 Indiana Jones movies are absolutely great. I don't think there's a person out there who can't say they're not some of the best films ever made, at least in the last 30 years or so. Point is, we're going to focus on each film first. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes, I know. The DVD box art says Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, no. Fuck that. It is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Thank you. Now that that's out of the way, let's focus on what makes Raiders a great film. From the start, focusing on that paramount-shaped mountain, we're given this iconic image of Indy walking into frame. You see that silhouette for the first time. You see that hat and that brown leather jacket, and you think to yourself, wow, this guy is cool. Then he goes in there, into that cave with his guide, and you're thinking, oh my God, how's this guy going to get out of this? He's already spraying all these booby traps. Then he gets to the end and you go, oh my God, he's going to use that sand as a counterweight. He's going to take that head, he's going to replace it with the bag of sand, and he's going to get out of there. There's no possible way a trap could spring from that. Wrong. Here comes that big boulder chasing after Indy. He barely manages to get out of the way. Then the whole thing ends with him being chased by freaking tribesmen on his way to the seaplane that dropped him off in the first place. How is that not one of the most epic openings in film history ever? Who doesn't love Raiders of the Lost Ark? Seriously. Then on top of that, you have great supporting casts such as John Rhys Davies playing Sulla, or Karen Allen playing Marion Ravenwood. So that's the first film for me. A truly exciting film that goes all the way to every spectrum of the imagination. You have bits of comedy, horror, and of course action, and even romance. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a great film. The second film in these first three gets a bad rep, in my opinion. True, it did lead to the PG-13 rating. That, and of course, Steven Spielberg produced the movie Gremlins, which also didn't help. But the second film in the series, of course, is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, let's focus on the actual plot of this film. The Thuggee cult has been brainwashing and stealing children from villages. They're making them dig, looking for Shankara stones. I get that there's a dark subject matter here. I get that there's so many different things working on different levels from, there's child labor undertones here. There's also the idea of whole villages being taken in the night. I mean, there's some dark undertone here. And of course, the image of the still beating heart being pulled from the man's chest, that's still something that's kind of haunting me today. But I think this film truly does get a bad rep. I think it's just as good as the first or last installment. Plus, you have another great screen character in the portrayal of Willie Scott by none other than Steven Spielberg's now wife, Kate Capshaw. So that, to me, is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now we're going to look at Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade starts out with young Indy. It's actually the scene in this film that led to the television show, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. It's played by the now late River Phoenix, but he did a beautiful job as young Indy. You look at this film and you think, wow, why are they starting it off with young Indy? But then you totally get it when it springs into modern time, well, not modern times, but springs into the 40s, and here's Indy getting the crap kicked out of him by this guy who he double-crossed all those years ago, trying to steal the Cross of Cortez from him. Now Indy's got it back in his possession, only to have it taken from him again, only to then jump off a ship with the cross in hand and take it back to his good friend Marcus Brody. Now then, you have yet another epic opening for an Indiana Jones film. And you think to yourself, these films keep getting better and better. And they do. There's just no way to deny the charm of all of these films. And their supporting cast wrap them up so beautifully with a bow. Like, who better to play Indy's father than James Bond? Sean Connery, the original James Bond, playing Indiana Jones's father. What an inspired choice by Steven Spielberg. You have to admit, it's a beautiful, beautiful story. A great father and son movie. I think this is something that every father and son should watch on Father's Day. And of course, another thing that helps all of these movies is that amazing score by John Williams. All of these films were scored by John Williams, and all of these scores are beautiful. Who doesn't get pumped up every time they hear the Indiana Jones theme? That being said, if you're on YouTube anyway, you may as well check out John Williams is the Man. It's a great video, and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. Now we're going to cut to the next section of our show, Trivia.